Utah Cannabis Club in the house. It's JJ.
It's Javi.
It's your boy Sep.
You got Gabe.
Cole. And Cole. Special guest. Cole from Salt Lake City, dude. Thanks for coming through.
Oh, yeah.
The notorious, the infamous
Welcome.
Salt Lake City.
Welcome.
Yeah, dude, I just want to say I appreciate everything you do, and speaking up for the plant and being part of the movement, Not just education, but the biggest thing, I care about with UCC is the culture and normalizing it, and making people aware that this is our life,
right.
And we take it seriously.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, man, you take it to the next level,
Well, that's the main idea behind it, is giving the culture and the industry some momentum. It was pretty clear in 2020 when stuff first started rolling that they wanted everything behind the Zion curtain, and made it hard for patients, just trying to figure out how to get a card, what's going to happen next after that. So we're doing a lot of the news, but when it comes down to it, it's giving the culture some support.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was telling you guys before we popped on, not to get long-winded, but when medical cannabis first, popped up 2018, got voted through, we had home grow rights written into the bill. And Salt Lake City, the idea of it was born inside Moonlight Garden Supply, working with Russ and Cody. And
shout out.
just a part-time job. In reality, I was using it to eventually hop into the industry. I wanted to be a Ryan Turner or Riley or these various growers that we have in the state. But it was kind of clear after the vote came through. I'm working in a grow shop, and 7 out of the 10 people that would come through the door would be asking us, what's going on with medical cannabis?
Yeah.
Local news wasn't telling anybody anything. And so, again, it was just to get the voice out there and really give us a little bit of momentum in that conservative state. That way.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Thanks for giving us a little background on
Yeah.
that. Starting us off that way. I was gonna ask a little bit more of how it got started, what what went into the inception of Salt Lake City, because dude, it's the only cannabis magazine in Utah,
right.
And it has provided so much education, so much information, so much inspiration for a lot of people in this industry, whether it's patient or advocate.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you saying that. Kind of like you guys in your operation here. I'm the Oz behind the curtain. I make the magazines. I get them out into the world, but I don't get to see the results of the fruit, so to speak.
Right.
So it's nice to talk about it, but know that people appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
I think people need to pause a second and really think about that, though. Like, if there's only one platform representing cannabis in a whole entire state, that's really, really huge to not only be the advocate, but be the one showing any kind of culture behind it as well. As you're here with us today, we're nobodies. we love cannabis.
Oh yeah.
We love cannabis, and we love being a part of the culture, and that's it. And you have given the voice to so many people. If you go through your magazines, the interviews that you've been able to tap into are amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see some of the people that you've been able to interview.
And that's who it's about, is the people, whether it's the patients or the industry workers. It's kind of celebrating what doesn't get celebrated enough. And even being the only cannabis magazine in Utah and hearing that people like you appreciate it, there's those other Utahns that don't appreciate it so much. And
100%.
we've been in it for 5 years now, and I thank my lucky stars we haven't been knocked out of the game by the forces that be, we'll put it that way. But it's because we've got, the grassroots following behind us, and I think that's what kind of keeps the momentum going.
Pun intended.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Those roots grow thick, man.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
To echo what they're to echo what they were saying, to be one of those media outlets that not only is one of the only magazines, you got these other ones that are out of the state, but it's put some respect on our state with a little bit of what we got going on. That Salt Lake City is one of those platforms, if not one of these platforms that provides, like you said, to growers and patients and gives access to behind the scenes that not a lot of people really don't get to see. It's you open up the magazine and there's this huge grow right in your face and you're like, holy crap, I get to actually read what's going on behind the scenes. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff going on behind the scenes.
Right.
You know, people ask me what I'm going to do when I run out of content to write about, and that's never going to happen. I can barely keep up with the current events and things, as well as, you know, what the culture is constantly evolving. And, you know, from where we were 10 years ago to now is kind of night and day in a sense. And it makes me know that 10 years from now, it makes me wonder how I'm going to consume in the future.
Yeah.
You know, some of the stuff that we're going to discover and where we're going to evolve to next. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Good point. That's a great point, man.
It's ever changing and ever growing.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's been one of the funnest interviews that you've had the pleasure of doing here in Utah?
So many. Yeah, that's a tough question. You know, first name that pops into mind is Weldon Angelos. Have you guys heard of Weldon's story?
We got locked up.
I think Jay was talking with you guys about Weldon, and
man, shout out to Weldon.
that guy, you know,
salute.
he was in the fight. You know, we get to fight for the plant kind of from the outside in, and you got to remember that there's the real POWs, the prisoners, the war on weed, and people that really not only paved the way, but kind of took the lumps for us in a sense, you know. Unfortunately, Weldon's story is so unfortunate, but it's almost fortunate that it happened because now we get to look back and we have something to kind of compare to and fight against because it's so in your face, and having somebody, you know, that big here in Utah, you know, who knows what Weldon would be doing today if the cops didn't fuck him over, you know, 18 years ago.
How many years did he serve for? Was it like an ounce that he got caught? Was it like 10 years or something?
They gave him a 55-year sentence, so he was going to be in there for
all because he went to trial, you know, all because he fought for himself.
Served 15 of those years, which, man, that's
horrible.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
I remember JD telling us.
Yeah, but when he got out, he got pardoned by Trump. What year was that?
2016. Was it the 2016? His first administration, right?
Yeah, it was right near when, you know, medical cannabis was being talked about here.
Like I said last time, thanks Kim K.
But instead of getting out and just kind of going, he started fighting right away.
Advocacy.
And talking, that was probably the coolest thing with the interview is he's like, dude, I still have friends in jail. Like, I got to get them out, you know, and to see that kind of passion, it's
moving.
It's heavy. It can fuel you, you know?
Yeah.
But, it, you know, those stories like that, it kind of shows me why we're fucking doing this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Makes me want to smoke just that much more.
Well, and the crazy part is you highlighting those stories, and when you're talking about going to the past, it really gives people an idea of what the heck's going on. You know what I mean? And still what's currently going on. One of the questions I want to touch on is what helps you kind of stay on the trends of making sure, you know, people understand cannabis. Are you just reaching out to growers? Are you constantly on social media just to make sure you're staying up to date? Like, what are some of those obstacles that you sort of face on a day-to-day when it comes to like Salt Lake City?
I wouldn't call it obstacles by any means. It's probably the best part about the role is I have to be on top of things, right? You know, so whether it's our industry, our growers, our hash makers, you know, keeping up with them. I tell the people what's going on, but they're the ones that tell me, you know, like topic that pops into mind is the static electricity with hash making.
Static.
What?
That's what I'm talking, like the way we consume and, you know, process the plant now might not be the same, you know, in 10 years.
Well, that static tech's just revolutionary. Being able to do cured product and now do a traditional style temple ball. I think that's one thing that we have temple balls, and it's an aging process.
I just wrapped my banana
Foster.
It was one pure plant temple ball.
Oh yeah, the banana Foster.
Yeah, it brought me back to the past.
Nice.
You know, when the hash was simple, you know what I mean?
Hashish.
Getting that old school hash back, and it was so rare. You know, back in the early 2000s.
Oh my gosh.
Good hash.
And now to have something like that and like shout out Pure Plan.
Yeah.
They're
Shout out
$70
Pure
a gram for some
Yeah.
full melt.
Oh yeah.
$60 for a Temple Ball or hashish. That hashish is awesome. It's aged, it's tasty, it's a 5-star. It's just not a melt. It's not a full melt. And it doesn't roll like a Temple Ball, so it ends up in hashish.
My mom, just a random story. She about 6 months ago, she's like, "Remember the hash we used to get?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I remember that shit."
I wanted to ask, what's that like?
I want to find some of that, and I'm like, I don't know where to find this, old Afghani type style hash.
Yeah.
But I took the Temple Ball over to her house, and she's like, "This is it. This is exactly what I want."
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right."
Wow.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Y'all did it,
Wow. And what was that like back in the day to find hash? Was it a rarity? Was it a rare occasion? Like, was it one of those once Christmas a year type thing?
Yeah, it lucky once a year.
Sheesh.
That's what I think a lot of people forget about now with the legal industry. Is,
Right.
Remember whenever go dry? Like, you go
Oh, yeah.
dry. I would walk across the country to get weed.
Oh,
The
yeah.
accessibility, right?
And now
Oh my
it's
gosh.
yeah, you never have to worry about that. It held as near as like 2017 December. I remember everything went dry and everybody was driving over across the border. But just bring that up, it's like don't have to deal with that anymore. Which is nice.
All the snowboarders and skiers are just celebrating for the last 5 years, just up in the slopes, Finally don't have to be scared, They can do it medically now.
It's finest up there.
It's a big step. Thank you, man.
Yeah, big culture,
All the
man.
ski
But I don't even know if I answered your question. Sorry.
No, that was awesome. You were talking about, whether it comes to hash makers, weed,
but
the
staying
consumers
in-
tell you, staying in the loop and
that again, that's the best part. Social media, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm a news guy. That's where I come from.
Let's go.
I've been a general assignment reporter since 2007.
wow.
But I've
Way to
worked
go,
in.
man.
I've been a journalist my whole career. And
Shout out to the journal.
thank you. Yeah, freedom to speak.
Gosh, man, someone's got to
sir.
document it.
If I could ask you a question, what made you passionate about journalism, or what draw you to journalism?
Good question. Hunter
Or like
S.
who
Thompson.
inspired?
for
Oh,
one.
that's who I was gonna ask. I was gonna be like, who
I
inspired
wanted
you
to be Hunter S. Thompson. I read the
Hell yeah,
Run
dude.
Diary when I was maybe 19 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna be
Change your
that
life.
guy.
Nice.
But that I could get long-winded on this because
Go ahead, man.
the best part about journalism is there's a newspaper in every small town and city around the world, really.
Right.
And that was going to be my ticket to take me to wherever I wanted to go. National Geographic, Power Magazine, those were what publications I aspired to do back in the day. Photojournalism was really my focus in college, but journalism gets you in the mix, the ultimate fly on the wall.
Boots on ground.
And it's what I'm doing with medical cannabis. I'm doing the same thing I did in my regular journalism life here, and it's, again, being the inevitable fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Going to all the state meetings, going to the grows, and making the magazine forces me to do that,
Yeah.
right? Every 3 months we have a new magazine come out, and it's almost like doing a brand new book every 3 months.
Seriously.
Trying to keep them interesting, and
Yeah.
again, people ask me, what am I going to do when I run out of content, and I can't even keep up with it. It's impossible. But again, your question and yours, like, being that fly on the wall is the ultimate life in my perspective. I wanted to be a grower back in the day, or kind of work in the industry, but the more I found my own unique role, amongst it all. So it's been
Beautiful.
If you would have told me I'd be doing this just 7, 8 years ago, I would have been like, fuck you.
Stay with us.
Pulling my chain, dude.
But yeah, it's rare you get to find a role that, one, pays the bills, but also fuels the passion.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Both of your passions too. It seems like.
100%.
the connections you're building,
Yep.
you know, the love that goes into not only the magazine, but the emotions, the stories.
Yeah.
You know, it's more than that. It's like telling and highlighting the grower's story of where they came from. You know, it's not just someone that's growing, it's where their childhood and why they want to grow something like that, you know, and you highlight those specific things. And I think that's what really gives people an idea of even going back in time, like, yo, issue number this, issue number that. There's documentation, you know, and that's the beautiful part of the journalism that you provide. So shout out to you in providing that timeline and history for Utah.
Yeah. It's, I look at our, you know, we've done, I think, like 18 magazines in the past 5 years, but I look at it all, and it is a timeline of what
it literally is.
The main purpose is, my biggest worry is that the culture is going to die out.
Don't gotta worry, man. He's got your back,
right? It's why I think home grow would be phenomenal for a state like Utah.
It's essential. It's essential.
It would solve almost every problem we have
It will.
overnight. But then again, it would give us that culture. I go to Colorado and other states where the growers get to mingle. You know, our industry is so small and it's split up that it's rare you see all the growers in one place at one time, you know. And,
Or they're tripped out to even talk.
right? It's a hush hush because they're all trying to keep one up to the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so competitive
yeah.
because there's so little.
Yeah,
It's like a bunch of big ass pit bulls just
One bone, bro.
they are
each other on their own corner.
Might be a chihuahua somewhere.
The fence is up though, like this, but the fence is down there nice.
Before medical cannabis, you know, everybody had that common ground. We were under one banner. We were fighting for legalization, right? Now that legalization has kind of had this trickle effect, it's slowly broken up the group that was one into a bunch of different, whether it's company versus company, hemp versus cannabis, Schedule 3 versus whatever. That's biggest disappointment for me. Is it'd be nice if we could kind of come back together. You know, fighting for, you know, descheduling would be something, you know, to start with, but that's a good example to bring up because some people like Schedule 3, bring it in, we won.
Right. Careful now. Exactly.
And that's what's kind of disappointing now is seeing politicians. They've been trickling this or dangling this Schedule 3 carrot in front of our Biden did it first, and now Trump's doing it, and having these big events with a signature, and they didn't do shit that day. They didn't do anything. You know? The DEA still hasn't written the rules, and we don't really know what Schedule 3 is going to be until they do that.
Seeds going on. It's scary.
So you got
Government's crazy.
the hemp ban and Schedule 3. You got kind of everybody. Cannabis was marching up the hill, and now everybody's kind of like stopped in their tracks. What's coming next?
Right.
Yeah, we're at the top of the hill. It seems like we're at the top of the hill.
Yeah, and that's that's the trick, right?
Yeah. No, it's a very good point that you make of home grow being one of those things that keeps the culture alive.
Yeah.
Because one thing that, you know, like when you said that made me kind of think back to the time we went to Emerald Cup.
Yeah.
We were at Emerald Cup. We were standing in line. And, you know, people smoking everywhere. You know, people were just lining up everywhere. And then, you know, like I think it was Wes at the moment. Shout out Wes. He was definitely going into just learning a little bit more about growing and stuff. And so he was chopping it up with people here and there about their grow ops, you know, and like what they're doing. And it was just regular day people with full-time jobs, people with part-time jobs, people that did it full-time that were like, oh, I'm here to cop these seeds, bro, because they only sell them here at the camp at the Emerald Cup. So I'm trying to cop this strain so that I can, you know, get back to doing what I do. And it's just like, you know, it's stuff like that will keep that culture going, you know. And it's like I never really thought about it that way, because it's like home
those
grow
events, they do open their eyes. It kind of gives you a glimpse of what Utah's future may be like. In a sense, you know, I was in Denver this past summer and went to my first consumption lounge. Cirrus, shout out to them. Sitting there, I was just kind of blown away. Like, okay, this is what's going to come, you know, and I hope it does. But at the same time, everybody stopped there, dead in their tracks, and it's kind of, you don't know what's going to happen with cannabis in the next year.
Yeah.
I just wish they give, and that's why I bring up home grow is they allow that even nationwide, it would give us the plant back.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of feels like it's been
autonomy.
taken away in a sense. And
Very true. Yeah. 100%.
All of us yearn for home grow. Yearn for home grow.
Like full patient autonomy,
Like,
full giving
minimum
back to
6 plants. Come on, like
they can put
6
up some,
plants.
you know, write out the regs, you know, and
At
limit
least
plants, you know, it's not going to be what people on Capitol Hill think it's going to be.
only
you know?
certain people have a garden.
Not everyone has the ability
Or
to
time.
or afford to. You know what I mean? There's such a small selection. I kind of think about it like craft beer.
Yeah.
You
Think
know,
about it like a
craft
candy.
coffee. You
It's
know
a
what I mean?
perfect example.
These guys kind of go through this weird prohibition, goes mass production, then all of a sudden just comes back to craft. You know, some people say that cannabis will go that way. It's not one of those things where I hope it does, where I hope it stays where Utah's like an interesting demographic, but I think the more we continue just to highlight, you know, why Utah's so special, you know, it's not that it's behind, you know, it's that there's just little things we're trying to fight through to stay up to date, you know, and I think the more you constantly highlight that, it just starts to keep fighting that narrative that gets pushed against it, right? You know, it's like, oh, the culture seems to be, and it's like, there's a lot of home growers coming out of the woodworks now. There's more patient advocacy coming out now. There's more meetings happening around now, you know. So I think your magazine not only continues to do that, but continues to push that narrative on this side too. So, but we share that same sentiment too, that, you know, hopefully the culture continues to stay alive, and we are the ones that can continue to keep that fight. So
somebody's going to have to carry the torch after us, you know, and hopefully that'll continue. And that's really the idea of it. So we're kind of looking at national, that's, you know, leave them the way you came type of thing. And I want cannabis to be the same way too. Of course, I want people to stop getting arrested, but, you know, cannabis is going to change is what kind of stumbled me up there. So we got to keep it moving in the right direction. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. 20% agreed, man. So what did get you started on your cannabis journey?
Yeah, tell us about your first cannabis experience. What's the first
Cannabis experience?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is it in the 90s?
I grew up with deadhead parents.
Oh, right.
That's got pros and cons. That's awesome, dude.
Kind of a fun story, you know. I'm a kid product of the DARE program in the 90s. And lived in Reno. That's where I grew up, but moved out here about 15 years ago. But besides the point, second grade, I was in the garage and I was looking for supplies. I was building a tree fort in the backyard.
Nice.
And stood up on the tool bench and I'm looking for nails and shit, and I found an Altoid can. So I popped that thing open and there's one of those chamber pipes, metal chamber pipes, and a couple of nugs. And my first thought was, my dad does drugs. Like, fuck. Like, this isn't good, you know? It kind of tripped me out the rest of the day. kind of forgot about it, you know? And then,
how old are you again?
Shit, I was probably like 7, 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Like 8 or 9, dude.
And again, I'd probably just gone through DARE, so I was like, oh my God, we're fucked.
My parents are gonna
The
die.
commercials we used to have.
There to say
one in
no.
particular, like a dog in the room, you know, and the girl's just flat on the
Flat
couch.
on the couch.
Sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
And her friend's like, oh, she sucks now.
It's not the
But-
same when you're high.
You're not the same.
The dog's talking to him.
So I grew up with that, you know, and then fast forward to like freshman year in high school. Summertime, boring, you know, you got nothing going on. And I've been hearing about cannabis more since I was a little bit older, and I was like, I just want to see what it's about. So I went into the garage and wasn't even sure if I was doing it right, and smoked one bowl and went inside, and I thought my eyes were supposed to get dilated. So I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, no, it's not working. So I went back out and I smoked another bowl and I got annihilated. I laid in I ate everything in the refrigerator.
Let's go.
Mom came home from work and I was like kind of passed out in the bed and she just
She
thought I
knew
was chipped.
immediately.
Yeah, no, she didn't. I was getting hiding it throughout until later on in high school. But that was my pot supply. Was my dad. He got some of the best stuff out of Northern Cali. And,
shout out, Dad.
Wow,
Yeah.
back in those days, dude, that's awesome, man.
Back in the day, they would call it
real
meds.
sour, huh?
Yeah.
Real
I wish I
sour.
knew, because a lot of times you just get the weed and wouldn't even know what the strain was.
Yeah.
You know, nobody really cared about that much.
Right.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about it? Like look, smell, taste,
Yeah,
effect?
you know, you got your brick weed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I only bring that up just because you got that kind of weed, and then you have
Yep.
your mids, what you call maybe chronic, and you know, it'd be 40 or 50 a bag. And then you get the Northern Cali meds, and that was usually like $20 more. But that stuff was comparable to what we see in the dispensary now, good weed. You know, Frosty, you could stick buds to the wall. You know, the other stuff you get in Reno, you find seeds in it, and it wasn't anything to write home about. But that was the weird, you know, you just wanted to get weed. When I was young, we didn't really think about the quality as much as people do now.
Right.
And the numbers, like I never knew how many milligrams of THC was in my brownie my friend made, you know, or, and you're asking about hash, it was rare you'd kind of find the exotics, but that's different for every high school kid, you know. Becoming a stoner, you know, it's kind of like acquiring a good plug in a sense, you know, the more intertwined you're in, the better your plug is, you know.
Nice.
That takes a lot of work, you know, especially for a journalist like me. I work in a newspaper. I bounced around a lot, and so I'd be in a new town and have to find a new plug. Living in Idaho, that was the
Hey, I'm from Idaho. I'm an
Okay.
Idaho boy.
Yeah, his
Worked
nickname's
for the morning
Monster.
news at Blackfoot.
I'm from like Idaho Falls.
Post Register in Idaho Falls. Worked for them for a while, mostly at Idaho State Journal in Pocatello.
Oh, nice.
Is that where you're originally from?
No,
Okay.
after college, that's
Reno,
where I
okay.
my first journalism job out of college.
I grew up in like
Nice.
St. Anthony
Okay.
Park.
Yep, I love Island Park. Worked on some cabins up there back in the day. But Idaho's like my 20s. You know, I'm 42 now, and Idaho was, you know, from 24 till like 32.
It's a weird little spot for sure.
I kind of miss it, but at the same time, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, when I was younger too,
He's like,
I also found my mom's stash.
Yeah.
And also she was my supply for a little bit.
Yeah, my dad didn't know he was my supplier.
Oh, my mom didn't know either.
The
Yeah.
day he caught me, that was kind of a funny story where we had off-campus lunches in high school, and I think I was a junior at the time, and that was our routine, is that we go back to my house,
Yep.
smoke, and then we go back to school.
It's very familiar.
Yeah.
Your house was lit, dude.
We'd always do it in the garage and never really worry about the smell. But
Did you have a pipe?
we'd always use
was
his nose burn. And, you know, actually, junior year, that was when we started first getting glass. and
Yeah, I got
stuff
a bong
like
at the
that.
same time.
And so whoever loaded
Everybody was
the bowl,
coming
but-
over. What? You got a bong at your house?
Yeah.
In high school, that was like royalty.
I had a plastic one that I bought from the Melting Pot Emporium in Reno.
Hell yeah.
Badass spot, actually. Anyways, we're in the garage. There's like 5 of us, and I'll never forget the sound of the garage. He came home for lunch for some reason, and we fucking panicked. And we had a little bit of a window since the door was going up, and we all ran inside, but we forgot to put his pot away. Yeah, and so that was when kind of shit hit the fan. But kind of eye-opening for him too, you know.
How mad was
he? He was pissed. He was pissed.
I've been waiting for that stash for a week.
He had this big bazooka can in the garage, but he'd have like 3 or 4 different types, you know, strains in there. We wouldn't know what they were, but it made it easy when you're pinching bowls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To this day, I need to ask him what it was. It was like a nug, but it was hash. It was like
Like moon rocks?
it's kind of like, I don't know what it
Caviar.
was, but it was like hash mixed with bud. Wow. But that shit was wild. Might have been something like a Thai stick or something. I don't fucking know.
Jeez, your dad was.
Do you have any favorite strains that you've encountered
Lately?
just in general? What are your top
All time.
Give us top 3.
Ooh.
Top 3 all time.
Top 3 that like top 3 in your
Hash
mind
or
that you're just
flower, like
Cindy 99.
Oh, Green Brothers.
Yes, sir. Shout out Cindy.
Heady. It's a nice sativa.
You know, whatever happened with Alaskan Thunderfuck? Haven't seen that in years.
Okay, some
Some stuff out
ATF.
of Alaska. I was thinking more Northern Lights.
And now, me and you have a similar palate, my friend.
Okay.
These are like very, very on par with what I love.
Super Booth has been kind of
Nice.
the one for the past year. We'll
Shout
put
out
it
to
that way.
Blockhead Vibes.
Yeah, that's Dragonfly's fault for that one.
Shout out
But
Dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
You know, we were talking earlier. Get off track here, but John Travolta is
That John
phenomenal.
Travolta. Yeah,
But
creamy.
you know, at
Shout
the
out to
same
John
time,
Travolta. It's a good one.
we've got a pretty interesting. Buzz is definitely one of my go-to strains.
Shout out Buzz.
Not strains, but brands. Mostly consistency. Why I like Dragonfly too. You know what you're getting every time. And the growers kind of have it. They've got it dialed down.
Yeah.
In some regards.
Yeah, I love both of those teams. The Dragonfly team has an original glue that I love.
I haven't tried that.
The original glue is gas. Dude.
Okay.
I love their original glue. What else do they have going right now? Their Halle Berry. Dragonfly's Halle Berry and their Betty line.
Oh, yeah, their new perp. Yep.
Yeah, that
Shout out to Blockhead again.
Delicious, another Blockhead. Yeah, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Back to top 3. I might throw Rainbow Belts 2.0 on there from Buzz. That one always tickles me just right.
Yeah, dude. I love that one too. Love that one too for sure.
yeah, I love when the permanent marker first came out.
Yeah.
Buzz had it.
That was the first place I saw it,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
first
sure.
place- yeah, they're the first one to have
Ever.
it.
You know, I've been reading about it. And one of those new hot strains.
Yeah, this is a permanent marker from Betty.
Okay.
Not my favorite permanent marker, but
Okay.
it still has its notes. My favorite one is a cross between Himalayan Rain
Okay.
and permanent marker. It was from The Ritual from Wholesome.
Yeah, I haven't had any ritual in a while.
Awesome.
Shout out Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Turner is.
Hawaiian Rain.
Yeah, Hawaiian Rain.
Yeah.
Hawaiian Rain times permanent
I
marker.
remember that. Well, they had a
Oh yeah, that
Pacific.
Hawaiian Rain. Oh
That was
yeah.
fire.
What was that? Pacific Rain, maybe?
You remember Wombat
Pacific
Juice?
Pie.
God,
The
I haven't
Pacific
heard that
Pie
name in
number
a long
8 was
time.
Yeah, right.
Um,
That Wombat Juice was crazy.
The Wombat Juice.
You know what's funny is like speaking on those
Tangerine
like
terps, dude.
what kind of terms?
Tangerine.
Okay, so like a tangy type.
Yeah,
Okay.
super tangy.
This is the Bling Blau.
oh, shout out to Buzz.
Yeah, that's another one of my staples. Best thing about Buzz, they have the regular strains in there, but Jean's always getting crazy stuff that you're either reading about. Blue Oyster, there's a few.
He has a couple of really cool ones right now. That 24K
Yeah.
is a pretty awesome flower. His Blue Andes is, I really like the Blue Andes from them.
Yeah, that's
Hairheads.
like Blue Dream and steroids.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That Hairheads that they have.
Yeah, I had that right before I came over here. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, love that. Love that one too. What else? The Facets you brought. They have a Black Rose. Is it?
That or Black Maple,
Um,
BMC, I think is what they call it.
BMZ is another
Okay.
strain that they
Yes,
have.
I've seen that.
But they have a couple of just very
They have like
unique
14
cultivars. That SLC scoops.
24.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him
Yeah.
to make the Salt Lake
Hey.
City strain.
That shit-
Come on, you got it. Chat, you heard that. You heard it.
Scoop
We're
strain.
gonna take
Get
it
him
over.
in.
Yeah, right after that, we get the UCC string.
Come on now.
We love you.
You know, compared to all your favorite strains now, what was it like trying to get a favorite strain when this market first opened up?
Oh, when it first opened up.
What was that like? Was it like, I am not even going to spend $1?
We only had, Dragonfly had their 4 staple strains. I'm trying to remember. Flow White, Granimals, and that was my all-time favorite.
The
so
Granimals, man.
Granimals is crazy.
It's one of my favorites.
You said Flow White was
Flow White was one of my favorites.
Flow White, Granimals, Sunday Driver.
Yeah, Sunday Driver.
Apricot?
No. That came later.
That came later.
Those earlier ones.
Shout out to Redbeard Farmer.
Jack at the time.
His Sunday Driver, and I think he got his genetics out of Colorado, but I've gotten Sunday Driver a number of times since, and nothing touches that. I can't find it, you know?
Yeah, that dark cereal milk berry.
There's probably like, what, 3 dispensaries open?
Well,
they were the only ones that
Dragonfly
opened up first, I think in February or March 2020. And then it was kind of the trickle effect, you know. With Salt Lake City, I started it in October of 2019 and was gearing up. Our first issue was going to come out on 4/20/2020.
Oh, okay.
COVID happened, and instead of the industry kind of open, it trickled out.
Yeah.
Dragonfly opened, then I think Wholesome Co. opened. The Flower Shop, which was Perfect Earth Apothecary.
Yeah, Apothecary. Yeah.
Deseret Wellness, you know, and the industry's changed so much in the 5 years. Just seeing how, if you look at the power, you know, bubbles going up, you know, you look at Curaleaf, they originally only had a pharmacy license here now.
Yeah, Lehigh.
Yeah, now they got 4 locations and they're vertically integrated.
I didn't realize how big of a stock how big of a MSO they are.
Bro, if they wanted to,
they're like $1 billion.
Crush everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
see, that's the thing, right? It's like
that's the big worry, is that we're going to get stuck with MSO weed. Yeah. And the MSO presence has always been in Utah, but it's really kind of taken over.
Yeah.
And why, you got to support the local companies.
For sure. Small, if they can allow like cheaper licenses, more access to home grow, more people to obtain a way to access into the industry. You know what I mean? Like that would be. There's a lot of different ways they could kind of farmers market and open up the industry. Yeah. Because now it's kind of the cannabis club. Right. Maybe do 25 micro grow licenses. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Could you imagine the washes coming out of that? Yeah, you think holy crap! In Utah, we got like small batch breweries. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I worked for Trinidad on Wasatch. That'd be awesome.
That'd be crazy.
There's a number. We've got another general session taking place right now, and every year they kind of rewrite stuff and kind of mess things up a little bit, in a sense, if you want to look at it that way. It's a lot of, you take one step forward and then the next year you take 3 steps back, and a bunch of that. Kind of a boring general session for cannabis. Kratom, I think, kind of took most of legislation. Yeah. I don't know if that had anything to play with it, but compared to years past, we didn't have a whole lot of changes going on. Telehealth was kind of the main thing, which they should have done that in 2020 when COVID was going on. Instead of doing that, they allowed for delivery, and that was their kind of fix for that. But the Kratom, that's just kind of a topic too. I thought we were beyond banning plants, but here we are.
Where do you think the industry in Utah is headed to, like direction wise?
Yeah, I see the MSO takeover just getting worse. It's hard, with Schedule 3 in the mix. I think that's countrywide is going to force a lot of these big companies to take over.
Start participating,
Yeah, you see the small mom and pops kind of go away. The people that were in the grassroots efforts of getting this legal in the first place are kind of left off on the curb.
Have to sell out. You just sell the company.
My fear is that, we're going to have Zen Leaf come in and they're going to be the next Curaleaf. And next thing you know, we don't have a Dragonfly. We don't have a Beehive. We don't have, these local companies that are They've been fighting for it since the beginning, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That direction seems scary because you see other states when they do that, at least the presence of these MSOs, they start to throw in these crazy products that these other companies can't keep up with. You know, they start to throw in these bigger tanks and carts. They start to throw in, more tiers of flour in different names, and then you're like, how many brands? You got 5 brands now, underneath your name and a different name. And now you have different potency level games that are being played, and so that direction is definitely a scary one.
We're still in the Wild West, if you want to look at it that way. Even though we've got legalization in most states in the country now, it's, again, bringing up, the 10 years from now, who knows what we're going to have. My only hope is that grassroots efforts gets a little bit more traction here.
Yeah.
And, we're not, look at Utah County. There are 4 dispensaries down there. Now they're all Curaleaf. There's 3 of them, I guess. And
they're all Curaleaf.
And there's the one that just opened up in Moab, right?
They're a local company, which is cool. More power to them. That kind of brings up.
Shout out Boojum.
Yeah, Boojum. They're
I just went there today.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
You had 4 different companies in the running for this last pharmacy license, right? And kind of back up, last general session, they said we were going to get 2 new licenses. One's going to a local company, somebody already within our industry, and then the second one's going to an outsider. So, the first thing that pops into my mind is it's another big MSO is going to come in here. And there's a story on that too. Don't let me forget that. The 4 companies, Boojum, Zenleaf, I'm blanking on
Pure Plan.
Pure Plan wasn't on the final 4, though, were they?
We applied for it, yeah.
I'd have to pull up our post. But what I'm getting at is Boojum was the only local company that was in the final running.
Yeah, for the final running, yeah.
And the other ones were big MSOs.
Wow.
It's like, what are we doing?
It's a pay-to-play type game. What are we doing? Right.
And
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, definitely.
so, which kind of brings up so why would a big company like this want a rural pharmacy in Utah? My worry is that this next license they give out, Zenleaf's going to open up a dispensary in Vernal, which would be great for Vernal. But then they're going to acquire one of our local companies. And I think that's going to be the next move. And I think that could just keep happening. And why you got to support local cannabis. The Pure Plans, the Boojums. I'm being an asshole and forget some names here, but you got Buzz and Beehive, the Pure Utah guys.
Zion, I think Snowbird.
Yeah, Olsen Co., but they've kind of changed some too now where it's hard for me to consider them an MSO because they have boots on the ground here in Utah that are actually making decisions here and running operations where
for the people.
With the magazine, I talk with all the operators and the ones that don't, it's not even because they don't support the magazine, but they don't support Utah at all, or the ones that have their management outside the state.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
No,
they
that's
do not give a fuck.
So true.
And why, support that local grower. And it's tough. That's something we should probably, put into the magazine. We try to do a family tree article where we're showing all the various companies and kind of who they're tied to.
Well, they need to. It's true because it's like driving to a state. Like I'll drive to Nevada and I'll go past a dispensary and I'm like, yo, look up the dispensary, and I'm like, I'll look at the dispensary and I'm like, oh hell no, man, I am not smoking some bougie, parts.
Weed, right?
Yes, and then I gotta wait till we actually hit, the city to actually get some good quality, and that's what it feels like. Come through Utah. Hit some touristy spot that's some MSO. You're not going to get the best. You're going to get the lowest of, and not to call anyone out, just to say that this is the truth, but you're not going to get the best.
No.
You know what I mean? And if anything, they get to control the monopoly on the prices, whatever, it's a touristy spot. So, yeah, you're right on. It could be Zenleaf,
in every state's
MSO.
like that. I go visit my mom in Montana. She lives in Roberts outside of Red Lodge.
Montana.
And in this small little ski town, they've got 3 dispensaries. One at the end of the industry. It's elevated, and they're the big player in Montana. And then you have
I've seen that. Yeah.
Bear Creek. I think Bear Creek Meds is what they're called. And it took me a few years going there. You go to Bear Creek Meds because it's small mom and pop. It's a husband and wife. They grow their weed in the back. They put all their heart and soul into everything, you know, and it shows when you consume their products.
Where did your mom live again over there?
Roberts,
In
which
Roberts?
is west side near Red Lodge in Billings, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By Billings.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah. Shout out Cole's mom, honestly.
Her favorite strain. We were talking about this earlier.
Yep.
That's how she relies on me. You know, I used to get in trouble for smoking weed, and now she hits me up for the good stuff.
Nice.
And, Magic, that's her bar none favorite strain, and I think all of her
Shout out to
friends
the
now
Magic.
too.
I love Magic.
Yeah, it doesn't get enough.
I've talked about that strain more than any other strain on this podcast.
That's a great strain. I'm honestly a little bit more on the hunt for those like more
You're
higher
looking at the
CBD,
numbers,
CBD
you know, on the
strains
back
as
of these packages. Now we get to find out the terpene percentages, right? And you can notice kind of good weed versus bad weed is the terpene numbers are kind of back, you know. And but at the same time, if you're going to have a lot of good terps in weed, every time you pull on something, something goes up, something goes down, right? And THC percentage is usually something that gets dialed down when your terps are really banging.
well. Yeah.
And you only need a little bit of THC sometimes to
No, for sure.
you need
That
to know.
entourage
The entourage effect plays in 100%.
man.
Yeah, you touched on it.
Very true.
You know, and then with that labeling, people can start to, you know, understand where their profiles are. You know, they can be like, oh, this is the strain. It may be different here and there, but you start to kind of understand what helps.
Having a weed diary where they make them where it's for strains that you smoke, and it's got all these sections for
Tracking.
the effects and the bag appeal and what it did for you. And I'm trying new stuff all the time. I have my go-tos, but that's another one of my favorite things is I love the new stuff, you know. Like, show me new stuff all the time.
Yeah, we love doing strain reviews.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of our favorite things to do on this podcast.
Yeah, people that say weed in Utah isn't good, I just want, sometimes it drives me bananas. And I think if you're standing far enough from, you know, the industry, it'd be easy to assume that. But then I think where the industry gets a bad name is we're in Salt Lake. We got it kind of good. You got Wholesome Co., you got Dragonfly, Beehive. You're in Utah County, and
The forest.
you're stuck with
Yeah, you got the forest now.
and the forest in town too. That's been the big
Dr. Green
shake up.
Thumbs and
Oh yeah, I saw you at the grand opening. That was cool.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They were
I knew I saw you. That's right. I was trying to think last time I saw you. Beehive, I think they're gonna move to Draper here soon. They just got the things in one of the last cannabis meetings.
That's gonna change.
Yeah.
That's gonna change things a lot.
wow. No more
Wow.
wine
It's good for
drinkers up
them, you
there.
know that. Yeah, they got some of the best products in the state, but they're kind of in this little hole on the west
They
side,
are.
and it's really easy just to stay on I-15 and pop into Block or the Forest, or you know, I'm downtown, so
Yeah,
Dragonfly's my neighborhood spot.
Yeah.
Location. It's
Yeah.
all about location, man. Yeah.
Well, it's just getting around that time right now, I believe, right?
We're about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have
So-
some questions you wanted to ask, Gabe, before we?
Yeah, I wanted to
go
just say,
offline?
is there anything that you would like to leave with the Utah community, essentially, just on a leaving note? Any last things that you would like to just show some love to, or people that you would like to show some love to?
God, that's always tough because I'll leave people out. You know, I harped on it a lot in the interview, is that you got to support local cannabis. If we don't support it, it's slowly going to go away.
Right.
Unless you're a consumer like us,
So true.
you don't know how important that is. You know, but it also keeps the playing field level too. You know, we've got local players competing with the MSOs is a tough game. You know, but shit, you know. Put me on the spot. I don't really know. Support local. smoke weed every day.
Read his magazine, buy the catalog, read the
grab
issue.
a Salt Bake City.
Open it up. If you see it, support it, share it. Tell your people to read it and open it up. There's stories behind it. There's real people behind these stories, behind the paper. And it takes actual work from people like Cole to make that come to life. Because it's a battle in the front and a battle in the back.
And that's really the story behind, Utah Cannabis Club. It's not just us right here that sit on the couch every time. Yep. It's you and it's everyone watching.
Yeah. It's everyone we've came in contact
all Utah Cannabis Club.
I'm saying, with the magazine, we've got a little over 100,000 medical cannabis patients, and that's who we're trying to, communicate with. The more you know about the industry is the more aware you are as a shopper. It's
and the cooler it becomes. Honestly, you read like a little demographic or like a little memo of who somebody is, and like that's the person that's cultivating or making your product. It makes you feel so much more in tune with what and who is
who's growing your weed. It's the luxury you didn't really get in the past. They have the take it or leave it, business model where you're picking what strain and you have no idea where it's coming from, especially in a place like Reno. Hell, I went to college in Indiana, and the game changed so much more there. But
the only thing Dad had over it now is you can smell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's a rabbit hole, That's what I love about it is the science is always changing. Diving into it, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
The journalism that you provide, thank you.
The insight, man, the passion, dude. It speaks through the interviews and through the work that you put out every 3 months and over the past 5 years, man.
Yeah, thanks.
So
dude, if you have anything to say ever again, you are always welcome back.
No, I appreciate it.
Anytime, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to get some barbecue sessions going in the summer. Have some nice food.
More
bro.
events,
Get
exactly.
We're
Salt
launching
Bake City event,
cannabis event that we're trying to do monthly. Keep you guys posted.
If you need help,
come on,
instructors, I can help you get into that kind of stuff too.
Definitely.
You heard the man.
Yep.
Definitely.
Support.
But doing more events like that is kind of the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Now that cannabis is legal in Utah, it kind of seems the fight is more on the industry side of things, and the patients get forgotten. And people love their cannabis culture, and now that it's legal here, we should be able to celebrate it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Cookout season.
Yes, sir. Cookout, smoke
At
out.
the UCC cookout, and you're invited.
I will be there.
100%, dude. Yeah, we would love to get some of
BYOB.
those going on.
Appreciate you for coming through. Till next time, this is JJ.
Sir, this is Javi.
This is Seth.
This is Gabe.
Cool.
Peace out. Thanks for Hell yeah.
Man. UCC, what it is. Man.
Bro. Man. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Honestly, man.
Appreciate it.
That was a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
so
fun.
much.